Hi, I'm Art Caplan. I'm at the Division of Medical Ethics at NYU Grossman School of Medicine. Well, we all know that there's been quite a bit of controversy about insurance companies denying access to patients for necessary medical treatment. Day after day, someone is usually complaining online or to the mainstream media that they got turned down for care, and they're not sure what's going on and they're not sure why. And people quickly rally to the cause of the person who got declined. But I just came across a case recently, a man in Southern California getting ready to fly across the country to Chicago at Northwestern University Medical Center from California to get a double lung transplant when his insurance company denied him coverage. In this instance, I think the insurance company was correct. The man has stage 4 lung cancer. He's a father of three, and certainly this is his last possibility for life. And it's very sad to see that situation, no doubt about it. The man also says that his insurance company had approved him for these double lung transplant and for the transportation to go from Southern California out to Chicago when all of a sudden at the last minute they pulled the approval. Well, what's really going on here, if you look a little bit deeper? First of all, stage 4 lung cancer, there is no indication for lung transplantation. Stage 4 lung cancer is so serious and so likely to have spread to other organs that it isn't something that is indicated right now as a standard of care or an accepted treatment to use lung transplants to go after it. So it's not standard of care. That alone probably is going to lead every insurance company I can think of to say no. Why they said it late, I'm not sure, but I'm not surprised that they would turn down a non-therapeutic intervention, deem it research. And indeed, if you look at this case more closely, the individual was going to go to a clinical trial to see whether there might be some benefit from double lung transplants, but not anything that the Northwestern and in Chicago had deemed therapeutic. So again, insurance companies notorious for not covering experiments, not covering the costs of clinical trials. I can't even imagine an insurance company that is paid for anybody to fly across country to be in a clinical trial. Whatever else one thinks about the pre-approval process, whatever else one thinks about insurance companies, they try to devote their money to what's proven, to what's established, to what's therapeutic. And I have to say, I think that's appropriate. So that leaves this poor gentleman with a dilemma. He is going to have to get to Northwestern, try to raise money through, GoFundMe ideas, basically begging online to see if he can get the cost covered. And a double lung transplant is not going to be cheap. It's also going to have to be up to the doctors here to say to him, your odds are very long. While we think that transplants might help many people with lung failure, your situation and your type of cancer, even though we're willing to do an experiment, it's definitely long, long odds that this is going to be curative, even much longer odds that there's any chance that you're going to even benefit in a significant way. Do we need a system to help pay for clinical research, to help pay for people to get to clinical research? Yes. Is that something that the government ought to be looking into? Absolutely. It's a hole in the safety net. We pay for therapeutic things, although we leave it up to private insurers often to decide what they're going to cover, a subject for another one of these videos someday. But in terms of pay for clinical research, if there's no grant, and we all know those have been going down in recent months, there's no way to cover the costs of the research, much less the transportation. I think people should have a shot at being in research if we're going to advance cures, but right now, the private sector isn't the place to turn to get the answer. One key issue that also arises in thinking about this case is the scarce supply of lungs, and lungs are exceedingly scarce. Finding someone who didn't smoke, who didn't have asthma, who doesn't live near pollution and has damaged lungs due to that, I can tell you just from my experience with our own lung transplant program here at NYU, lung donors, good lungs, very difficult to find. The obvious question is if you have a pair of lungs, why would you give them to an individual that's so sick and use them in research rather than giving them to someone who might benefit and conceivably two people if you have a double lung availability? The only answer I can think of for this is it may be that the organs are too frail or the donor's too frail to move anywhere. They try to see whether there's a match, and if there isn't, then this individual would get access to lungs basically that couldn't be used anywhere else. Do I know that to be true? I don't, but that would be my hypothesis. Still, in advancing research, there really is a cap, if you will, in the transplant field on lungs or any organs available for research versus prioritizing, which ethically you must do, to use them for therapy. I'm Art Caplan at the Division of Medical Ethics, NYU Langone Medical Center. Thank you for watching.